Hello, this is Watch All About with a watch review now. We're looking at the Greyhours Essential, and this is going to cost you £150. So let's have a look to see then what you can get for your money. So this is the box first of all. I thought it was pretty cool, so I thought it was worth sharing. Um, Very nice, subtle design. And you open it out. That's magnetized, and then here we go. So you don't just get the watch, you get a cool little leather card holder as well, which is a very nice little touch. You get a little cleaning cloth as well, and then we have a surprisingly thick book as well. It comes in a multitude of languages, and then a little tiny service request form card as well. And then we have the watch like so. So very, very cool case. The whole thing really is epitomised by very smart and funky product design. So that's a really nice little point to bring out. I was really impressed with the box when I first opened it. So that's a very nice positive to start with. So there we go. So let's talk about the watch now. I'll just move the box down there. So as I mentioned before, it'll cost you £150 and it comes in black or white. This is obviously the black version. So we have a DLC coating to the case, which stands for diamond-like carbon. Black leather strap and matching DLC coated buckle as well. So the white one is basically white strap, white face, and a standard stainless steel case. So what do you get for your money then? So DLC case, as we mentioned, you get a sapphire crystal with a really, really good anti-reflective coating on it. Italian leather strap, which is very nice and soft. The case size is 40mm in diameter, and as you can see, we don't have any sort of lugs, so it's a 40mm lug to lug length as well, because there is no lugs, and a height. It's relatively slimline at 9.1 millimeters. Let me just get rid of that here. A weight of 65 grams, so it's fairly lightweight. Water resistant to 50 meters, so it's deep and it's good enough for you to have a swim if you want to, shallow swimming. And then the movement is a ISA Swiss quartz, and it's the model the 9232/1950. Which is quite a long name. Now, ISA Swiss are a Swiss manufacturer, but they do have a very high quality manufacturing plant in China for some movements. So this movement in this watch is Chinese made, but it's by a Swiss manufacturer to a high standard, so I'm told. A couple of quite interesting points about the movement actually is you wouldn't expect this from this price of £150, but on their Instagram feed you'll be able to see that they've customised the movement a little bit. They've taken the top disc completely off and applied a complete black plating to it, which is quite unusual. And the reason behind that is that they want the watch to be as beautiful inside as it is on the outside, which is a cool ethos. And to be honest, it's pretty cool that they're willing to do that on something that you're never going to see. It has a raised date, which is still quite far down. We'll have a look at that a little bit closer in a bit. And also the date wheel itself is a custom font on that as well to match the rest of the watch. Okay, so let's think about it in a little bit more detail. So if I just pop it on, you'll be able to see how it fits on my 7.25-inch wrist. Now, I personally find 40mm watches to be a really good size for me on my wrist, and this is no exception. Obviously, it's very comfortable, very streamlined as well. It's a very specific design type. I wouldn't necessarily say it would look right on a suit or anything like that, but it's definitely very smart casual, and it's just very designery, if that's such a word. As a web and graphics designer myself, it really does call out to me, and I think it's very well designed and very cool and very smart in that regard. So the let me just take it off. So let's have a look at the dial. If I just give it a wipe down. So you'll notice first of all that it is a slight sandwich dial, in that the day dial is on a lower level, and also we have these hour markers, which rather than being printed or applied or anything like that, they are set in the dial as well to a lower level, which is a pretty cool, minimalist, subtle way of doing it, which I really like. The whole ethos of the design really is pretty minimalist, with the only colour being these blue second hand and the day hand as well. So that's a nice little splash of colour. Very simple hands as well, just plain batons with a loomed centre. The loom is okay, it's fairly average. And then the only other printing apart from the days is the logo just here. Sometimes you can confuse that with a hand if it's quite low light. You can think that that's pointing to 3 o'clock, but you get the hang of it. And then we have the date window just here as well, and you can see they've got sort of like a magnifier on it, which does mean it's quite hard to see at some angles, and they realise also that it's quite difficult to see in low light, because you see it's sort of like reflects a little bit. So that can be a little bit difficult to see. That's the main negative really that I've found. But apart from that, the whole dial is really well made. You can't really complain. It's really nicely designed as well. I think the simplicity of it is cool, but it's not like all the other minimalist watches out there. It's something a little bit different, but still very simple and well designed. Okay, so moving on to the case now. The DLC coating is in fact really good, because I have been wearing it a few days, well, quite a lot. As you can see, I've put a little kink in the strap from where I've been wearing it, and by accident I did actually whack quite hard the case on what was it now? It was a bit of metal, like a handrail or something, and I thought to myself, oh my goodness, have I just absolutely smashed up this watch? And I hit it just here on this corner, and as you can see, it's absolutely spotless. You can't see it at all. So I was really surprised and happy with that. And that's one really good thing that I want to put across to you all, that even though it is DLC coated, you would assume that if you hit it, the black coating would just come off and it'll look a bit rubbish, but it's really thick, really hard wearing as well, so that's good. So it will keep on looking really good for a very long time. So the design of the case is very simple, obviously round. I do really like the way that it has no lugs. Actually, it's something a little bit different. Some people probably won't like it, so it is quite a specific taste. But I like it. I like the way the straps seem to come out from underneath the case as well. And the only bit of detail really is this little indent around the bezel, and then the crown has a matching little indent as well. You can just get your nails into to pull it out to adjust the time. So that's a nice little feature and nice design as well. The case back is pretty cool, secured by these 4 screws. Very deep engraving as well. So we have Greyhours essential, and then a few little juicy bits of information: sapphire crystal, stainless steel, hardened DLC coating, and waterproof, and then some sort of serial number there as well. So again, that's for a watch costing £150, it is quite a surprising quality and depth to that engraving. So that's really nice to see. Whilst we're talking about the dial and the case, the sapphire crystal, obviously sapphire crystal, great, no complaints there. The anti-reflective coating on this watch is actually really surprisingly good for this price. When I compare it with other watches in my watch box, this really knocks a lot of the other watches out of the water really. I've had it against one of the brand new Christopher Ward's, the C9 Moon Phase. Obviously that's got a domed sapphire crystal, which naturally is more reflective anyway. But this crystal was really surprisingly like no reflections whatsoever. So I mean, usually I'm in the conservatory at the moment, and usually these reflections, as I move the dial around, would be really highly reflective. But in this, it's doing such a brilliant job at keeping them at bay, which means visibility is always very good. And I just think that when you have a watch with a really good anti-reflective coating, it brings across a real sense of quality, and it makes watches look more expensive at the end of the day as well. So that's a great little positive on this watch as well. So moving on to the strap, genuine Italian leather, very soft to wear as well, very manipulative, as you can see, which means it's very easy to wear this watch, and it's very comfortable when you have it on as well. Let me just pop it on like that. Same width all the way down. So it is very comfortable to wear, very supple. And then if we look at the DLC coated buckle as well, it's a shame they haven't really engraved anything on that. It would have been nice to see Greyhours or something like that, deeply engraved on the bar there. Oh, we've got it underneath. That's cheeky. That's nice. So obviously they did think about it, but I guess they just thought that it would be better keep it to a minimal design if they just had it on the underside. So that's a nice little surprise. There we go. Okay, so far so good. Let's have a look at it in a little bit closer detail then, if I get my my macro lens on. Okay, here we go. So a bit of printing there. If we have a look at the day subdial as well, nice little matte black texture to it, which is nice to see. And you can see the little hour markers inset to the same depth as the subdial as well. Let me just give it a wipe because it's got a few little fingerprints on it. So there we go. And as you can see here, we've got the date window. They've changed the font, which is cool, but it is still very deep, and apparently they've actually raised it. And I guess to counteract how deep it is, they've added sort of like a magnifier to it. But I personally still find it quite hard to read, so that's the only issue I really have with the watch. The hands, as you can see, very nicely manufactured, polished stainless steel baton with a loomed centre, and a blue painted second hand, quite a vivid blue as well, which is a nice little splash of colour. Okay, there we go. That's all the dial is really. It's very simple. Okay, so if we just move on to the case then, see the DLC coating is brushed. Here's the crown. Just pull it out. Unsigned crown, keeping the case pretty minimal as well. If we have a look at the underside, we can see where the strap fits on the underside. There we go. And then if we just look at the case back, see these screws that are fixing it in, and then nice deep engraving on the case back as well, which is which is a very nice surprise to see it so deep and so finely done as well. So moving on to the leather strap, we have genuine leather printed on the underside. You can see it looks pretty soft to the touch as well, which it is. And here's the holes on the other side. Interestingly, there's no stitching or anything around the edge, so they've done a really good job on keeping it really neat and tidy around the edge, considering there's no stitching whatsoever. I personally don't even know how they've managed to do that, so that's a pretty cool little touch. I guess again it's their ethos of trying to keep things really, really simple, but you can see there how nice and soft the top side looks as well. So the strap is pretty comfortable to wear. Here's the DLC buckle. And if we look on the underside to see this cheeky little Greyhours engraved there as well. So that's a nice little surprise. So there we go. So I'm not going to lie. I mean, obviously the style and the design is quite specific. You know, it's very, very designery. If it's sort of like in the same category as the new Helvetica One watch by Mondane. That's, you know, sort of aimed at people who really enjoy their design, and this I feel falls into a similar category. But if you like the look of the design and you like the look of the watch, then I would really, really recommend it, because it is really well made. For the price of £150, you're going to struggle to find a watch with you know, with better aspects to it. To be honest, the strap is very high quality. It's not your usual rubbish, not rubbish, but you can tell when a watch has a slightly less quality leather. The DLC coating, as I've mentioned before, is really, really high quality, hard wearing, and surprisingly decent and sturdy as well. The sapphire crystal, the AR coating is one of the best I've seen on a watch costing this much, so that's a great positive. And just everything about it, there's been a lot of thought put into it. I mean, the packaging, that as we saw at the beginning, was quite impressive as well. So you are getting a lot of watch for your money at £150. So you know, if it looks right to you and you can see yourself wearing it, then I would definitely say go for it. So this was the Greyhours Essential Black, and that's what it's all about.